Guy Van Sande was once on top of the world, at least in the small world of Belgium and somewhat the Netherlands. What happened to such a well-known and established actor? For everything to come crashing down. We were barely married for a month and looking forward to our honeymoon. I was getting ready to bring the kids to school. But then my world collapsed. About 10 police officers turned our house upside down. He was mainly acting in TV series like Whitaker, Asp, Zone Stad, and Vermist, and several other guest roles. Guy got fired from a major role where he acted as the main character in Zone Stad. His character got tied up on train tracks while a train stormed towards him. Does he survive or not? We don't know, and that's how his role in the series ended. Guy was shell-shocked as he was told the series would continue. But without him, as they were steering it in a new direction, the fans were outraged and angry. Facebook pages and groups popped up in support of Guy, with the biggest one amassing over 28,000 likes in 24 hours. This, however, did not deter the writers of the series, as they tried to turn the ship in a new direction, following the devastating season finale. And the firing of the main character, however, they couldn't find the right combination of actors, scenarios, and such to continue the series, so it was ended, full stop. Drugs became a way for Guy to cope with depression, and this, more often than not, became a self-destructive spiral, which is hard to escape from. Everyone knows cocaine is a very powerful drug, but the full scope of its impact on mental health is not yet well understood. It's false to state that it's a clean high with no long-lasting side effects. Repeated use of cocaine will bring your brain in a state where you eventually need to use more and more to reach that same peak high as when you started. As the brain craves more and more cocaine, it affects every aspect of your life, health and well-being. On the short term, you may experience symptoms like becoming restless, paranoid, anxious, irritable, and off course. This is just the tip of the iceberg, as the financial cost of maintaining such a habit can be enormous. Long-lasting effects can bring hallucinations, delirium, extreme paranoia, even violent and aggressive behavior. At one point, his wife took over his phone, which was filled with messages of drug dealers, stating things like, "Come on, Guy, buy 3 grams, 1 for free." Guy had a tough time finding new roles, as he felt he was burned into the character of Zone Stad. He did, however, manage to snag a few roles, only smaller in scale, and he became a council member in Belgium. After being a council in Antwerp for the past 6 years, Guy tried to diversify his skill set as he picked up the guitar and microphone, as he appeared on a small TV channel promoting his newfound career path. Finding Bob was a theater piece of Guy and Wim, and the best fragments of the piece would be performed in an intimate atmosphere at people's homes, small gatherings, and such. Photography was always one of his interests, or passions, even at the young age of 16. But later this passion would add towards the gravity of the crimes he would commit. In hindsight, it's all a bit grim, but no one saw this coming. 2016 was a big year. After being together with his girlfriend for 1 year, they were getting married. "A lot has happened in my life, but Natalie gives me peace," he said. It all seemed too good to be true, but a lot of troubles were brewing behind the scenes. The wedding day was beautiful. All opinions were overwhelmingly positive. The ceremony at the city hall and a big party in the garden of the newlyweds. They reached out to Star Entertainment to accommodate for the party. No expenses were spared. A reception, luxury foods like lobster, a lot of glitter and glamour. But were they actually able to afford all this? Behind the scenes, Guy was maintaining a crippling cocaine addiction. While his roles got smaller, fewer and further in between, it came to light that 2 years after the wedding, the outstanding invoices were still not being paid. Predators come in all shapes and sizes. As many of you have probably seen the series To Catch a Predator or Hansen vs. Predator. Police officers, soldiers, even a rabbi was caught in these sting operations. Now what happened to Guy Van Sande wasn't a sting operation at all. He frequented a chat room with the username Tom Juitwell, a hint towards his character in Zone Stad. During his chat sessions, he shared and downloaded very illegal images and videos of minors. Eventually, one of the men participating in the chat sessions got caught by his wife, and she alerted the authorities, and following their investigation, the other suspects got booked for questioning, one of them a professor of an Antwerp university. The news and other outlets only showed the professor with his face blurred, but after just a short search I managed to find find the exact video of him talking uncensored. Of course, him not exactly being a public figure. I won't be using that video, but just know it's out there. Guy's home and computer were completely searched, even the town hall swept by the authorities. They found 500 images and 70 videos on his computer, very illegal content of minors, some of them taken in his bathroom showing an underage girl, who was actually his stepdaughter, and images focusing on her genitals. So you can imagine, following the shocking revelation of the case, he couldn't find any more acting jobs. He was in a world of trouble. He became so desperate for money, he suddenly showed up on a market, working as a representative for a company that sells people a cheaper phone and energy contract. But even this got put on hold, probably due to negative publicity. Eventually, he was brought to justice, and the court was fairly mild, giving him 3 years probation and a fine of 18,000 euros, even though he didn't feel much remorse for what he did, going as far as to say, "So sometimes I fantasize about having sex with my mother. Is that a problem too?" As a response to taking the pictures of his stepdaughter, to say it in the words of Chris Hansen, fantasy is fantasy, and showing up is showing up. I would say, actually taking the pictures of his stepdaughter is showing up, and downloading the illegal materials itself, of course, is a criminal offense. He still wanted to see the child, as he didn't see the seriousness of his actions, and blames it mostly on his cocaine usage. That escalated to the point that he lost control. He used the drugs to relax, making him so agitated. He felt the need to watch porn, and the need to watch porn fed into his drug addiction. He needed the cocaine to watch the harder content, as he couldn't digest it while sober. While a study has found that porn addiction and substance abuse often occur simultaneously, fusing is when you use one addiction to intensify another one. Making it specifically about illegal underage content is a whole other story, of course, something the average person wouldn't even know where to look for on the internet. So blaming everything on his drug abuse comes off a bit as a poor excuse. Even after all these facts came to light, his wife remained by his side for another 5 years, before eventually getting a divorce, barely being able to see her daughter, because Guy wasn't allowed to be around minors anymore. As part of his probation, she too blamed the drug use for Guy's horrible missteps. Now that everything has been proven, the court has done its job. The major networks that still showed the episodes where Guy performed in are being cut, skipping an entire season of Whittaker, for example, passing over a whopping 183 episodes of the show. Drugs, feeling lost and depressed, isolating yourself on the internet and creepy chat rooms, his own choices to download and create very illegal material involving minors. This is how Guy's career came crashing down, and a job in the public eye and celebrity status is probably forever gone.